Hey ho, 2 more stories from relationship advice. One deals with a man whose wife is suffering from postpartum depression, and because of his criticism, he ends up getting a broom broken over his back. The second deals with a woman who is sure her husband is spying on her. As always, spelling and grammar mistakes courtesy of Reddit. Lol. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps this channel grow. Thank you. This story is titled, Wife Broke a Broom on My Back. My wife and I got into a heated argument just now over her laziness. Whenever I come home from work, the house is a mess and the kids haven't taken a bath. I told her I don't like coming home to a messy house. She's a stay-at-home mom, she doesn't pay shite. She got all defensive about it and said she never has time to relax. I was getting ready to leave the house and that's when she hit me with the broom so hard it broke. I can't hit her back, so I punched a hole in the wall. She's blowing up my phone apologizing and begging me to come back. She gave birth 3 months ago to our daughter and she says she's suffering from postpartum depression. I want to be there for her, but I don't think I can be with a woman like that. Has anyone been in a similar situation before? Comment 1. There is no excuse for violence and that would be it for me. Op would have been in the right to call the police. But Op comes off as having issues too. She has multiple children and a 3-month-old infant, and he comes home and tells her she's a lazy leech. She needs help with the PPD, and if they stay together, they should go to couples therapy too. Editor ad, Op, you might want to call a local domestic violence hotline. They can give you some support and possibly resources in the short term while you decide your next steps. Comment 2. Dude, she assaulted you, she broke a goddamn broom on your back. She may be suffering from depression and need help, but until she is better, at least please get the kids and distance yourself from her. She is a threat to you and the children. Be prepared for divorce too, as it is a very real possibility. Comment 3. Document your injuries and if you can please speak to a family lawyer. This is not to say you're going to do anything, but it's best to have the knowledge of what you need to do. You may need to take custody of your children if her violence becomes worse and/or becomes directed at the children. Having proof of injuries to you and whatever else your lawyer suggests can be a lifesaver. I'd make it mandatory for her to get help immediately, and if she doesn't, then you need to do whatever is necessary to protect yourself and your children. If you can get her to admit to the assault in writing, that's great. Speak to a lawyer before deciding whether to involve the police. Good luck, and I'm sorry you're going through this. Comment 4. Dude, that PPD is some serious stuff. It can go from a few tears to an ambulance and police cars outside of your home. Breaking a broom on your back is a sign of your wife needing some serious professional help. You may want to take her to the emergency room to get her stabilized before discussing how to proceed in this situation. If this kind of action is uncommon for her, then she'll likely go back to normal once she gets over her PPD. It would help to let the housework slide for a bit while she heals. As for you criticizing her, I've been through the same situation coming home to a house of squalor, but you have to bite your tongue sometimes. It's all part of being married. I'm sure you do things that she can be critical of too. Right now, you don't want to poke the bear during this trying time. Comment 5. Postpartum depression, it's something not to be taken lightly. It can be so severe that women have literally gotten up and walked out of a house, leaving their children behind and ending up in another country. They literally do not remember how they got there. There were other instances where the woman suffering from postpartum depression has actually killed their own children and then themselves. So, if I was you and you love your baby and her, take her to an institution and get her help immediately. It has only been 3 months since she gave birth. My mother had it so bad that she literally forgot I existed one day and left me in the crib while she went out partying, and my dad found me 2 days later. She was so out of her mind that he had to take her to an institution to get the help needed. This story is titled, I, 30 female, think my husband, 30 male, spies on me when he's away. We've been together for 8 years, married for 6. For the 2 years we dated, we were pretty much long distance since he was constantly traveling. I saw him about once a week every month, but that week was always the most amazing, so it felt worth it at the time. Our marriage has been rocky. He started putting pressure on me to quit my job as soon as we got home from our honeymoon so I could follow him wherever he went. Eventually, I agreed and quit. In the beginning, things were great, and I thought I had made the right decision. He would work a lot, but he made time for us to do things together too. However, after a year, he started leaving me either at the apartment, hotel we were staying at for long periods of time with no contact because he needed to focus on work, and I was distracting him too much. I finally had enough 3 years ago and asked for a divorce. I ended up finding out I was pregnant, so I decided to stay and try to make things work. My husband has changed a lot for the better. If you had asked me a few days ago, I would have said he was the perfect husband now. However, a few days ago he said something that set off alarm bells in my head. He had been gone for a business trip. During that time, my friend found out his wife was cheating on him and needed a place to cool down and a person to vent to. He came over to our place and we talked. He calmed down and went home after a few hours. I never mentioned it to my husband because he doesn't have very nice opinions of him, and I didn't want to listen to him say negative things about my friend when he is already going through so much. A day after my husband had come home, I was getting ready for bed and he was just quietly watching me. It was clear by his expression he was upset about something, so I asked what was wrong. He backed me up into the wall and asked me why my friend had been over at the house. I told him what happened, and he asked why I hadn't told him before. So I explained what I wrote above and said I didn't need to give him a report on every little thing I did whilst he was away. He didn't say anything after that. So I asked him how he knew my friend came over, and all he said was he didn't want me talking to that friend again and that he knew a lot of things I didn't know he knew. When I tried asking him about it, he told me to go to bed and went into his office. I tried asking him about it again the next morning and he laughed it off and said he was joking, but I don't think he was. Looking back, there have been times where he's said things that I don't recall telling him, but I always assumed I was the one who forgot I had mentioned it to him. I'm worried he's been spying on me whilst he's not here now. How do I figure out if he is, and if he is, what do I do? Comment 1. So, your husband is controlling, insecure, and from what you've said, bordering dangerously close to abusive. He backed you against the wall and you say he asked, but the behavior alone says he didn't just ask. I would put good money on his tone being threatening in some way, whether you perceived it that way or not. Your husband is definitely spying on you, I don't doubt that, and the fact he backpedaled after being questioned about it proves he knows it's wrong. Comment 2. Oh, I definitely want an update on this story. First, and most importantly, do you feel safe? Safe home with him there. Safe at home with him away. Second, some might say to seek counseling to work through the trust issues at hand. I see a massive, huge red flag in his wanting to control you, one that would personally cause me to leave. Does he spy on you? Maybe. Definitely look around for cameras, including outside. If you have a fancy camera doorbell, he could watch that camera when away and know who shows up when. Still problematic control issues, but not quite as creepy as a hidden camera inside. Comment 3. Your post is terrifying. Let's assume he is spying on you. What should you do? Always use an incognito browser when searching. See what devices are linked if you log into a web browser to search, such as logging into email while using a browser. This can store your history on multiple devices. Think of safe places for you and your baby to stay if you were to leave your husband. Know where important documents are kept in your house or how to make duplicates of them. Learn how to factory reset your phone and how to check if spyware is installed. Find out which friends you can trust to help you in the event that you do leave. I don't know how you logged into your throwaway, but make sure that info is hidden. If you are not ready to leave but are still feeling unsafe, some books I recommend reading are Safe Haven by Nicholas Sparks and The Chemist by Stephanie Meyer. Both are innocuous titles but can help prepare your mindset in case you decide to leave. Both main characters are on the run and they emphasize making thorough and clean escapes. Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn does this with more intensity, but the title may attract notice. The Gift of Fear by Gavin de Becker can help you learn to trust your instincts, but again, the title may attract notice. I hope you and your child stay safe. Comment 4. I see so much of this every day in real life and in Reddit, and it scares me so much. Honey, you're already in an emotionally abusive relationship, and judging by this post, it won't take long for it to get physically abusive. Leave. I don't care if people on Reddit think this is an overreaction. Because it's not. You should have left the moment he forced you to quit your job. That was not a red flag, it was a huge freaking red blanket. Comment 5. I'm not 100% sure, but when I saw this, I thought you were going to say that your husband was having an affair with your friend's wife. Because of that, your friend's wife knew he would confide in you and subsequently passed her husband's whereabouts along to your husband. I also thought that your husband might be using a psychological trick like the police use to get people to admit to things. They will lie and say that they know a suspect did something and just need him to admit it. Or they say an anonymous source told them the suspect did it. They count on the suspect's sense of guilt to get him to confess. In the case of your husband, he probably had no clue your friend came over. He just said he did to try to manipulate you into admitting it. Thank you so very much for listening. Please check out my other videos and like and subscribe.